Okay, students, let us begin our seventh chapter, which name is Glimpses of India. Hereby, we will discuss three stories from this chapter. The first one is a baker from Goa, then Kurg, and then tea from Assam. So, in this article, you will be reading Glimpses of India summary. The chapter includes three short stories. First one is the Baker from Goa by Lucio Rodriguez. This is a story about a baker and relates to the old Portuguese days. The second one is Kurg by Lokesh Abrol, and it is a story about Kurg. Kurg is a place in Karnataka. The author describes the weather, environment, people, wildlife, and the landscape of Kurg in the story. And the last one is Tea from Assam by Arup Kumar Datta. This story is about two friends exploring the tea gardens of Assam and also learning the legends behind it. So let's start the chapter, and it is our first story, a baker from Goa. So this is a pen portrait of a traditional Gaon village baker who still has an important place in his society. Our elders are often heard reminiscing nostalgically about those good old Portuguese days. The Portuguese and their famous loaves of bread. Those eaters of loaves might have vanished, but the makers are still there. We still have amongst us the mixers, the molders, and those who bake the loaves. Those age old, time tested furnaces still exist. The fire in the furnaces has not yet been extinguished. The third and jingle of the traditional baker's bamboo heralding his arrival in the morning can still be heard in some places. Maybe the father is not alive, but the son still carries on the family profession. These bakers are, even today, known as padder in Goa. Let us get the meaning of some difficult words. Reminiscing nostalgically, it means thinking fondly of the past. Loaves, it is a plural form of loaf, bread that is shaped and baked in a single piece and can be sliced for eating. And vanished means disappear suddenly and completely. Molders, molders means a person who molds dough into a shape. Furnaces, an enclosed structure in which materials can be heated to very high temperature. And heralding means announcing. And padder, padder means a word for baker in Portuguese language. So this story takes us back to the time when Portuguese ruled Goa. They were immensely famous for their breads. They used to make breads, and that is why they were very famous. The narrator often finds his elders thinking about those good old days and telling them that the famous breads date back to the time when Portuguese ruled over Goa. They ponder means thinking. They ponder over the past and tell them that though the Portuguese have left Goa, but the bakers of bread still exist. If not the original ones, their legacy is being continued by their sons. The bakers are still being referred to as padders. Everything about baking is still the same, ranging from those who mold the bread loaves to the furnaces which have survived the ravages of time. The sound of their arrival and the thud of their bamboo stick can still be heard just like the olden times. During our childhood in Goa, the baker used to be our friend, companion, and guide. He used to come at least twice a day. Once when he set out in the morning on his sailing round, and then again when he returned after emptying his huge basket. The jingling thud of his bamboo woke us up from sleep and we ran to meet and greet him. Why was it so? Was it for the love of the loaf? Not at all. The loaves were bought by some Pesking or Bastin, the maid servant of the house. What we launched for were those bread bangles which were chose carefully. Sometimes it was sweet bread of special make. Here, companion means, a person with whom one spends a lot of time. Jingling means to make or cause to make a light, metallic, ringing sound. So, in this paragraph, the narrator recalls that the baker acted as their friend and companion during the childhood days in Goa. The baker used to visit twice a day. Once, while he was on the round to sell his loaves, and the other time while returning back with his empty basket, having sold all the loaves. It was the sound of his bamboo stick that, that woke the children up. The children were so excited to meet him and choose from the braid bangles or kankan he made especially for them. While the bangles were for children, loaves were for the adults that were generally collected by the maid servant of the household. The baker made his musical entry on the scene with the jhang jhang sound of his especially made bamboo staff. One hand supported the basket on his head and the other banged the bamboo on the ground. He would greet the lady of the house with good morning and then place his basket on the vertical bamboo. We kids would be pushed aside with a mild rebuke and the loaves would be delivered to the servant. But we would not give up. We would climb a bench or the parapet and peep into the basket. Somehow, I can still recall the typical fragrance of those loaves. Loaves for the elders and the bangles for the children. Then we didn't even care to brush our teeth or wash our mouth properly. And why should we? Who would take the trouble of plucking the mango leaf for the toothbrush? And why was it necessary at all? The tiger never brushed his teeth. Hot tea could wash and clean up everything so nicely after all. Here, staff means stick and rebuke means an expression of disapproval or scolding. Fragrance means a pleasant, sweet smell. Parapet means railing or a low protective wall. Bangles means here refers to the braid in the shape of a bangle called kankan. So, in this paragraph, the baker often made a musical entry with his bamboo stick. His one hand supported the basket on his head while the other banged the bamboo on the ground. He would go house to house and greet the ladies before handing them over the loaves. The parents would scold the children and make them stand aside. But as eager as they were, they would climb a bench or the wall to peep into the basket. They did not even bother to brush their teeth before having those braid bangles because it seemed unnecessary effort for them to pluck mango leaves from the branches to use them for brushing the teeth. They considered brushing unnecessary because the hot tea could effortlessly wash their mouth, and they thought that animals like the tiger never brushed their teeth. Marriage gifts are meaningless without the sweet bread known as the bowl. Just as a party or a feast loses its charm without bread. Not enough can be said to show how important a baker can be for a village. The lady of the house must prepare sandwiches on the occasion of her daughter's engagement. Cakes and bolinas are a must for Christmas as well as other festivals. Thus, the presence of the baker's furnace in the village is absolutely essential. Here, feast means a large meal, typically a celebratory one. Bolinhas means another name for coconut cookies. So, in this paragraph, we have got that bread is an important part of the Gaon culture and it is evident from its presence at every important occasion. Means that in every important occasion, bread or loaves is used by the Goa by the people who lived in Goa and in that village in that Gaon. From sweet breads at marriages to sandwiches at engagement parties and cakes and coconut cookies at Christmas as well as other occasions makes the presence of a baker in every village and it was very essential for them. The baker or bread seller of those days had a peculiar dress known as the kabai. It was a single piece long frock reaching down to the knees. In our childhood, we saw bakers wearing a shirt and trousers which were shorter than full length ones and longer than half pants. Even today, anyone who wears a half pant which reaches just below the knees invites the comment that he is dressed like a padder. So, in this paragraph, we have got that. So, bakers were known to have one unique knee length frock, dresses typically known as kabai in narrator's childhood days. He had seen them wearing shirts and pants whose length was shorter than the usual ones. It was a part of their identity, so much so that even if someone wears that trouser length now, he is said to have dressed like a baker or padder, as was said in olden times. The baker usually collected his bills at the end of the month. Monthly accounts used to be recorded on some wall in pencil. Baking was indeed a profitable profession in the old days. The baker and his family never starved. He his family, and his servants always looked happy and prosperous. Their plump physique was an open testimony to this. Even today, any person with a jackfruit like physical appearance is easily compared to a baker. Plump physique means pleasantly fat body. Open testimony means public statement about a character or quality. So, in this paragraph, the baker usually collected bills at the end of month and it was written on the wall with a pencil. And in those times, baking was indeed a very profitable profession. It is said that the baker and his family never went starved because it was so profitable that they earned very much in one day. The baker, his family, and even his servants always looked happy and prosperous because of its profitable idea. So their plum physique also was an indication that they were very prosperous. And even today, if any person with a jackfruit like physical appearance is to be seen, then it means that they were compared to a baker. Okay, students, we have just ended our first part of this lesson and we will begin the second part in our next video. Till then, goodbye. Have a nice day.